Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your buddy Double D, and today we're going to be taking another look at the Division, and today we're going to be talking about attachments. So we're going to talk about what attachments are going to be the best for your weapons and how to look for the right stats so you know what you're buying before you spend your money on it and then try and put the attachment on your weapon just to find out that it doesn't really increase your DPS, because there is a bug right now going around where you can highlight over some attachments and for some reason it says it increases your DPS, but it doesn't. So I don't know. But anyways, let's take a look at these attachments real quick. So we're going to be using my Vector 45 high-end as an example today. We're going to look at this weapon right here. So there we go. The weapon itself does about 65,000 DPS. Now, DPS, for those of you that don't know, it doesn't actually mean the damage that every bullet does. DPS stands for damage per second, and that is calculated through the weird math, the logarithm, I don't know. But there are a couple of stats that go into that. So let's take a look at the stat list on the right. You see we've got the base damage of 9,096. We have RPM, which stands for rounds per minute, of 750. And then we have a magazine size of 20. So all three of those stats are going to play into the damage per second that we could do. Now, once we understand that, we can start to look at some of these attachments and better understand what we really need. So first and foremost, the most important attachment for your weapon is going to be your magazine. You're going to come over here and you're going to look at all of these different magazines that I have hanging out here. I've got a couple of superior and a couple of high-end, and you'll notice this one's got reload speed, rate of fire. The one beneath that has magazine size and rate of fire. The one beneath that has magazine size and critical hit damage. Now for this weapon, and pretty much for all of them, what you want on your magazine is this one right here. You want magazine size and increased rate of fire. And the reason for that, the reason for that is going to be that magazine size is just going to increase the amount of bullets that you can shoot before you have to stop and reload. And reloading time is time when you're not doing any damage. Rate of fire is going to increase the speed at which your gun shoots. So you see over here I've got the magazine size jumps to 38, the rounds per minute jumps to 942, and that alone is going to jump my DPS from 65,000 to 102,000. So that's a pretty substantial jump. So we're going to go ahead and put that one on right there. And just so you know, see, I can hover over this one, magazine size, critical hit damage. It is going to give me one more bullet, and the critical hit damage might be a nice DPS boost, but you see I lose that round per minute, I lose that firing speed, and that's going to decrease my DPS. And then all of these other ones, the reload speed, magazine size, all of this stuff it's just subpar compared to a magazine roll with 90% magazine size and increased rate of fire. So that's what you want to do. You can get a high-end extended magazine blueprint from the advanced weapons vendor upstairs in the, I believe it's technology wing. That's all I got. I just crafted a bunch of them until I got the roll that I wanted. So let's move along. Let's pop over here to Underbarrel. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. There are going to be stats that are going to increase. So let's take a look at this. I get 29% stability and 17% accuracy. Obviously, that's good. I can roll through here, and you see there are minor jumps in the DPS here, but really what you want to look at, you don't want to just hover over your gun, you don't want to just hover over the attachments and then click whatever the highest DPS is. You want something that's going to increase your stability and accuracy. Let's take the Liberator, for example. A lot of people don't like that gun because it's very difficult to control. So you can imagine if I were to put this magazine on there that has an increased rate of fire, it would be even more difficult to control. So I'm really going to need to pay attention to the accuracy and handling stats. Sorry, I lost my words there. I'm going to want to pay extra attention to the stability and accuracy stats on my grip and make sure I get the most stability, because it doesn't matter how high your DPS is and it doesn't matter how fast you're shooting. If you're not hitting the target, you're not doing any damage. So that's what you want to keep an eye out there for on that one. Let's jump up to the optics. Now, we're going to run through all of these optics. You see I've got a holographic sight. It's going to increase my optimal range and my critical hit chance, and it jumps my DPS up to 108,000. So that's pretty good. But what we're going to use, you see I've got headshot damage and accuracy. Now, that's a much bigger jump. That goes from 108,000 to 111,000. However, this is a sniper rifle scope, and I am never going to be using a sniper rifle scope in a close range scenario like I would for an SMG. So we're not even going to bother with that one. So here I've got iron sights. Improved iron sights is going to increase my DPS to 112,000. So that's the most substantial jump that I've got right now. It's 16.5% headshot damage and 17.5% accuracy. But the one that I am going to use is going to be this T2 micro red dot sight, because that's going to give me 18.5% critical 18.5% headshot damage and 6% critical hit chance. So we're going to throw that on there. That's going to be really nice because I'm pretty comfortable with the accuracy for this weapon, and I don't feel that I need the added accuracy here. So with that, we're just going to pop right on over to the last mod, and we're going to look at all of these. So I've got Compensator, increased horizontal stability and critical hit damage. That's nice. I've got optimal range and reduced threat. You know, I don't really care for the reduced threat because I just hide like a little bitch, so I don't care if people are shooting at me. Some people like it, so if you find that you have maybe low hit points and you're just getting focus fired a lot when you're running your dailies, reduced threat might be something you want to look into. We've got another accuracy and reduced threat. That's going to give me a nice jump to 116. And we've got optimal range and reduced threat. We've got horizontal stability and reduced threat. And then we've got the one that I'm going to use, 29% critical hit damage and 18% reduced threat. And that's going to be the biggest jump for me. That's going to put me up at 121,000 damage. So we're going to go ahead and throw that on. The biggest thing is that critical hit damage is really big for SMGs, just because if you look at the SMG itself over here, it has an inherent 21% critical hit chance that's going to, so that increasing the critical hit damage and the critical hit chance and all in one fell swoop is going to help me a lot. Now, if we were to take a look at something like the Caduceus or the Liberator, my attachments that I'm going to want to use are going to look just a little different. They're going to look pretty much the same. I'm going to have an extended magazine. You see, here's the one I have equipped right here. Magazine size and critical hit damage. And then here's the one that I have on my SMG. And you see that it's going to increase my damage to 108,000. But I don't personally like having a high rate of fire on my assault rifles because I find them they're just more difficult to control, and it's not worth the increase in DPS, in my opinion. Again, we're looking at, let's see, hip fire and horizontal stability, because, when you're using an assault rifle a little further out, you want to be able to land those shots and you want to be able to control it. So the more control you get, the better. And then Omega Rifle Suppressor, accuracy and reduced threat. I could throw this one on, but for my assault rifles, I like reduced threat and accuracy. And then for an optic mod, we're just going to go right down here to the improved headshot damage and accuracy for the improved iron sights too. So to summarize everything, when you're looking at your attachments for your weapon, the only one that's really going to be set is you're going to want the extended magazine with magazine size and rate of fire. Everything else, you're going to want what's best for you, what's going to make the weapon easy to handle, because again, if you're not landing your shots, it doesn't matter how much DPS your gun says it does. That wall's dead as shit now. You're not going to kill anything. So I hope this was informative. I hope you guys are having fun with the game. I am thoroughly enjoying it. Make sure to thumbs up, and if you like more content, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Double D out.